Good morning and welcome to AM Break with Ann and Audra. We are here in Wheezy's Cottage and Home.
That's right.
I like our new little nook.
I know, we're switching spots and there's so much in here to see, so many different sets, if you will. It's very exciting. We love this place.
All beachy.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about your birthday in just a second.
Okay.
But before we do that, birthday was yesterday, by the way.
Can you tell by the bags? No.
I hope not. No, it's going to be, it was a good time. So, Game of Thrones. Huge ending. Have you seen it yet?
Oh, the one that ended like 2 weeks ago, Ann?
Yes, the one that ended 2 weeks ago, but we haven't had a chance to talk about.
Oh, this is true.
And
My bad.
Anne's so far behind with her television watching that I had to catch up to you. But no, I saw it, and I agree with everything I saw on Facebook.
Crazy.
Trying to not see.
Oh, yeah.
It was amazing.
It was.
A great ending. I love them. I love Game. So I'm waiting for the next season. Cannot wait.
I'm so glad you're finally caught up.
I'm finally caught up.
For y'all that don't know, it took Ann about 4 years to get into it.
Probably.
And,
No, I was way behind, and then I binge watched and tried to catch up. But speaking of catching up, finally finished Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Just in time for the new book.
You're like the only adult still reading this.
I am the only adult still reading Harry Potter.
I'm proud of you.
I cannot believe it took me this long.
Okay.
Such a great book.
And I have nothing to share because I'm not.
You've never read them?
Oh, I read like the first 3 or 4.
And then you watched the movies.
They're like 20 now.
And then did you watch the movie?
Of course I watched the movies.
No, there were 7 books, I think 8 movies altogether. And the latest book, 19 years after the first, has just been released.
Okay. Is there a movie following this up? Aren't they all grown?
Like they're outright adults. So she does have more movies coming out.
Okay.
And the one that I saw has none of the old characters.
Got it.
But it's still the same concept of England and wizards and witches and that kind of thing. So I'll say Colin Farrell.
Really?
Is in it.
Wait, really?
Well, I mean, she always has British actors.
Oh.
Right.
Well, then.
And so he's in
I'll have to catch up.
and you'll have to see that. Yeah, so that's coming out soon, too. But anyways, back to your birthday.
It was awesome.
Do you want to tell anyone how old you are? Or do you just want to sit on that?
30-something.
30-something? Yeah,
30 and hanging. What is it?
30 and pause. That's where we are forever.
Okay.
Well, no, I accepted my 40s.
I don't mind. 38. It's great. 38 is great.
Good year. So, and what did we do?
We went to Fifth and Thomas, just had a big old shindig. Their food is awesome.
Amazing.
So Sean and I had been there the week before. I've been telling Shannon Lee Moore, like, we're coming.
Right.
Oh my gosh, went there on a Friday night. The food was amazing.
Right.
Posted on Instagram, and everyone's like, wait, they serve food? I'm like, yes.
Completely changed things up.
So good. Live music, food, just awesome venue. Redecorated. Our friend Kelly Pettit did the Fifth and Thomas painted and the faux painting everywhere. It's awesome.
And her daughter dresses us.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right. So.
Of course. Carolyn, thank
and
you.
then
Couture.
I'm on a board, Commission of the Status of Women and Girls with Corey. So.
Oh my gosh. So everybody.
We're always with that family.
Sounds good.
We've got a lot coming up the next few weeks, actually. Year of the Girl per the Commission of the Status of Women and Girls. We're going to talk to some businesses. We're going to talk to Gloria Pugh about some of the things going on in our community and what we can do to help our community recover. A lot going on.
A lot.
Excited. All right, so stay with us. We'll be right back.
Wheezy's Cottage and Home. There's so much here for your home, you may never want to leave. Wheezy's Cottage and Home in the Market District, next to Narcissus. Hey, where did Ann and Audra go?
Welcome back to AM Break with Ann and Audra. Joining us now, we have Gloria Pugh. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
And we actually have you here as a member of a special task force currently trying to help the community recover. And just in case you don't know at home, Gloria is also a local business owner. extraordinaire, Amwat. But we wanted to talk to you about some of the things that you have going on as a member of this task force. What can you bring us up to date on?
Well, right now, the Community Leadership Council on Gun Violence, we have presented to the City of Tallahassee our findings. Over the last 2 years, we analyzed the crime statistics here in Tallahassee, and we also analyzed different strategies throughout the United States that have been successful in reducing crime. And of course, we did identify a strategy by the name of Cure of Violence. And yes, it is out of Chicago, and a lot of people have an issue with that. But what they need to understand is that it's a third-party provider. It's not the City of Chicago. It doesn't have anything to do with the government of Chicago.
But that was the example you went and looked at.
That's the example that we went to look at. And in the area, right now, there's unfortunately only one site existing in Chicago. But that area has experienced a significant reduction in crime. And in addition, they're living very peacefully, whereas the rest of Chicago is having a serious issue with a lot of gun violence. As you know, they've had like hundreds of people murdered just in this year alone. And so the Cure Violence Strategies in other states, the state of New York has actually decided to invest several more millions of dollars into the strategy because it has been successful within the cities of New York. So we did present it to the City of Tallahassee, and we're still working on hopefully getting a site funded here in Tallahassee.
So, yeah, Gloria, this sounds like a plan that, a lot of people are like, well, what can we do? What's the actual plan? Tell us about Cure and this strategy and what it does and what it stands for.
Well, what Cure Violence does is that it identifies individuals who are high risk for either being a perpetrator or a victim. And what it does is that the Cure Violence Health Model is a strategy that is located right in the center of where the problems are occurring. And the site only oversees a 2 to 3 square mile area. And what they have is social workers and individuals that are called interrupters. And these are individuals that actually live in the neighborhood and are employed. And their job is to interrupt violence. So when you identify who the individuals, and the community itself knows who the individuals are that are at highest risk. So it's a constant focus on these individuals, trying to persuade them to turn their lives around. And a lot of these individuals, the interrupters who are very credible, have themselves had issues with the law and are probably have been incarcerated, have been released, and they want to make a big difference in their community. So it like I said, what it does is that the Cure Violence Health Model is that it identifies, interrupts, and stops the cycle of violence. And so you see certain areas that have implemented the Cure Violence Health Model with fidelity, because this is statistically it's a statistically driven, and it has to be implemented the way that the Cure Violence Health Model from the University of Chicago. In the areas that it has been implemented with fidelity, they've seen a huge improvement on crime. So, but what's so wonderful about this community is that even though we don't have the strategy implemented here in Tallahassee, individuals who are members of the council and individuals who are part of my communications team, they're taking matters on themselves and they're having conversations with the community in regards to how can we curb violence, what do we need to understand so that we can come up with the solutions. In fact, this past weekend, Darian and Shelby Davis hosted what they called Linked Up, and it was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and it was about conversations of what do we need to know, how do we need to, what is it that we need to understand from the different community members. Over the last year, I've had the opportunity and the benefit of meeting so many different sectors of the community. And there is one thing that is very concerning to me, and that is the disconnect from the north side to the south side. And there is a huge disconnect on what people understand and what their beliefs are. As you all know, Leon County is the #1 county in crime statistics.
Right.
And in Florida. And when you talk to people, the affluent people on the north side, their immediate reaction is like, I feel so safe here. I can go shopping. I feel safe in my neighborhood. I can walk around. I feel very safe here.
But their car could get stolen. That's going up too.
Yeah, exactly. But then when you talk to people on the south side,
it's another way of life.
It's another way of life. And it's just because you have money does not make you good, and just because you don't have money, it makes you bad. And so we have a disconnect, and I think that one of the things that we need to do is that we need to communicate with people from different sectors of our community and understand what is going on in their life, what their challenges are. I mean, I ask you this, when was the last time that you told your child that there was nothing to eat? And not because you didn't go to the grocery store because we're just so busy, because we just order out, or we'll just go run to the grocery store. But when was the last time that you told your child that there was no food in the house and there was no money to buy food?
Never.
Exactly. So that's the beginning of a day or an evening for a child and for a family. So, and that can escalate to today in the paper about incest. So you have children before they even come to school who are probably physically, mentally, or sexually abused, who have had no food, and then they're coming into the classroom
Expected to learn.
expected to learn, and they probably have a little bit of an attitude. And if you don't have a teacher who understands the plight of some of these children, what happens? You punish them. So it's just this vicious little cycle,
Right.
And it's all connected.
And it's all connected. But there is hope. I mean, this community is a wonderful community, and people do care. Right now, the mayor, the city of Tallahassee, and the chief of police have Operation Safe Neighborhood, and that's where community members come together and they walk the neighborhoods that are having the issues, the high crime, and they, meet neighbors, talk to people who don't live in their neighborhood. And that's one of the things to bridge the gap, is becoming more involved in the community, because we've really become so isolated. We take care of our families. We get in our car, drop off the kids, go to school, go to work, come home.
Gloria, this brings up a good point. I think when I moved to this community, this is one of the few communities that I saw where there are a lot of organizations for you to get involved and to get working. Not a lot of people do it, but there are a core group of people who I feel like are very involved.
Absolutely.
We have organizations like Whole Child Leon, really focus on the South Side. What are some other ways that people at home who they want to help, they don't know what to do, how do they get in touch with you? How do they get involved? How do they support what you're trying to bring to this community?
Well, they could always call me at AMWAT because I'm there a lot.
There you
Operation Safe Neighborhoods, I've got the information. Mr. Alfonso is the one who's coordinating the Operation Safe Neighborhoods. We've got 2 more walks coming up. The police department has the community policing, which it's designated officers who are working intensely with the communities. And what they're doing is that they want to create relationships with people before the need for the police. Because usually when you call the police, it's because something horrific has happened. And so the police department is really trying hard to create those relationships so that there is a relationship and that people get to know, and especially children, that, the police officers are community oriented and they do care about us. Yes, unfortunately, there are those few bad apples, but for the most part, they're, at least the Tallahassee Police Department and the Leon County Sheriff's Office, they're doing their share to try to bridge that gap and create these relationships, positive relationships. They've got, during the summer, they've got the splash and jams, which are really fun. And these are opportunities for children and their parents, especially teens, to have something to do in the evenings on Fridays. They have the community pools open. It's free. The police department has individuals out there. I believe the chief of police was at the last one. The mayor was out there with the kids. And this is a really great way so that you have these positive relationships, because we certainly don't want for children, when they see a police officer, it's a negative.
Right.
So there is a lot we can do. And one of the things, over this past week with all the horrific issues that have, or the horrific incidents, the murders, is that we talk a lot about healing and we talk a lot about communicating with people. But I believe that one of the things that we need to do to heal as a country is that we need to change some of the laws that are discriminatory against the impoverished. Currently, we have a law where we take driver's licenses away for failure to pay child support, which I am all for paying child support. That is very important. But when you take a driver's license away from an individual, it's so counterproductive. And so individuals, part of their, so you have, let me give you an example. You have someone who was incarcerated, for marijuana possession, what have you. And while they were incarcerated, did not make their child support payments. they're released from, jail, from prison, and part of their rehabilitation back into society is you got to get a job.
How are you going to get there?
Right. And then you get a notice from Department of Revenue that your license has been revoked because you haven't paid your child support. And your conditions of release is you got to find a job. So they're going to get in a car to find a job, and if they get pulled over, now they've violated probation. So it's this vicious cycle. And so I think that one of the things that we need to do as a community and as a country is that we need to revisit some of these laws that are working contrary to. We cannot continue putting challenges and roadblocks for people to succeed, because a lot of the people who are in these situations, they're good people. They've just made some really bad decisions. So.
All right. Well, clearly we could keep her on the show.
I know, Gloria.
And I don't know how many questions
I think you covered it all. That was a lot
so.
of great information, and we really appreciate you coming on.
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you so much for having me.
And of course, we're going to have you back and stay up to date with what's going on.
Definitely.
And again, continue to find out more and more as to how we can help.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. We'll be right back.
In honor of National Barbecue Month, we're holding the greatest rib-eating contest in the history of the universe, the Million Rib Sweepstakes at Sonnys BBQ. Help us eat 1 million ribs and you could win free Sonnys for a year. Add to the bone count with all-you-can-eat St. Louis ribs with 2 sides and bread for $14.99 for a limited time. Then enter for a chance to win at sonnysbarbecue.com/millionribs. Sonnys BBQ, local pit masters since '68.
Text with Care, text with Care, yeah. Don't text while driving. Please don't text while driving. For safety we are striving. Please don't text while driving. Don't text and drive. Don't text and drive. If you wanna stay alive, please don't text and drive. Please don't text while driving. Don't text while driving. For safety we are striving. Please don't text while driving.
Welcome back to AM Break with Ann and Audra. Joining us now, we've got Jeremy and his friend.
Greg.
Hello, welcome to the show. Audra, I sent you a clip of what we were going to be talking about with them, and this is the Tallahassee Adventure Club. Why don't you give us a quick little brief description as to what it is that is?
Well, my name is Jeremy Rogers, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of the Tallahassee Adventure Club, and this is my partner in crime, Greg Bargo, and he is also one of the founders. And what we're trying to accomplish ultimately is an outdoor leadership school for the entire community. Like our last guest, she wanted to bring in everybody, and as do we. We want to provide outdoor leadership skills that help empower everybody, women, children, all ages, all races, and we have the expertise from our background to provide that.
Well, actually, let's do this. Let's roll the video.
Okay.
Take a look at Tallahassee Adventure Club, and then we'll have some questions for you afterward. Let's roll it.
Welcome to my dream. It's pretty amazing how we all got here, but it didn't always start out like that. This is amazing, and where we're at is beautiful, but initially getting going and getting started in life for me was quite difficult, and there were a lot of challenges that I had. My father was tragically killed before I was born, and I was given up for adoption twice, and so all before the ages of 10. And so most of my childhood I was alone and just unsure of myself, and I'd always dreamt about traveling the world and just getting away from where I was at and just this lifetime of adventure, and I never knew that it would be what it is today, and I'm just so darn thankful.
yourself today that you maybe didn't know before? What?
To be like funny, happy.
Oh, I love that. That's perfect. Very cool, very cool. What was your favorite thing about today so far?
I loved doing the arts and mainly most of it. I loved charades and I can't decide.
Awesome, awesome. Did you learn anything new today that you didn't know before?
Yeah, I didn't know that you could make a bracelet out of this, and I had no idea that you could filter water whenever you were outside.
How cool is that, right? Yeah. Fresh water anytime.
So now, this would essentially be, it is drinkable water. All right.
The future's connection, right? I mean, that's what we want to do. We want to connect to the earth, and we want to connect to each other. And the Tallahassee Adventure Club wants everybody to do that outside. So that's it, really. What it all boils down to is just love, connection, and being rad.
Nothing could make her happier than to have more, much more.
What did you enjoy the most today?
I'm having s'mores.
Right? They're my favorite too. What did you learn today?
To have fun.
I like that. That's a good thing to learn.
I'm Dana. I'm Sophia's mom. And I just think this is an incredible opportunity for these girls. It's been a fun day and more than I expected. And we're happy to be here for the first camp out.
Is there anything that you would like to see in the future that you feel would be a cool lesson or experience?
Off the top of my head, nothing I can think of. I think more events like this for kids are pretty cool.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
We'll let you guys get back to hanging.
We're all so different, and that's what makes it really cool, is it we're all just so different. And so usually when that happens, and then the finished work that comes out of that, as special as it has been, is that like when the product is that good from that many different types of people, that's a spiritual thing, and you just gotta ride with that. It's like, your first time on a black diamond, you're like, no, boom, and you're gone, and it's over, and then you don't fear that anymore, and you get to the bottom, and your legs are shaking, and you don't even know this guy next to you, and your friends are at the other chairlift, but you made it down, and you hug him, and that's how I feel. What we're doing is amazing, and we're going to inspire not only Tallahassee, we're going to inspire the entire Southeast, because our perspective is new, young, fresh, hip, but it's the same message. It's been the same message. Be nice to people and go outside. At the end of the day, it's quite simple. Be nice to people and play outside.
Now, that's amazing.
Awesome.
We go over some of the reasons why you started this, but you actually had it pretty tough as a kid.
Yeah. So essentially how the genesis of this was, I am the American dream. I feel very confident in saying that. I come from an at-risk background, and how I have, earned my college degree, landed this phenomenal career as a fireman, bought the home, beautiful daughter, is through my experience in the outdoors. And I found that climbing mountains, going on extended hiking trips, surfing, things like that, gave me the strength and the confidence to, one, be a leader in my home, and two, to be a leader in the community. And that's what we're trying to provide.
And Audra, we're actually going to have him back on the show one day because you also cook.
I do.
Cook. Food's always my thing.
I do.
I love it. And we actually have videos of that, but we'll discuss that later. But Greg, tell me how you got involved with all this.
Yeah, so me and Jeremy haven't actually known each other that long, but like Jeremy does, he just kind of somehow randomly meets people, becomes friends with them. So he found me in the community. Yeah.
She doesn't remember how she meets anybody, but she's got a ton of friends. Right?
It's a skill. It is a skill.
So we randomly met, and pretty soon he found out that I had kind of an outdoor adventure background. So kind of the way it started for me was my brother Brandon and I back in 2006 did this huge expedition. We didn't have a whole lot of experience climbing and what this expedition actually entailed, but we just had this dream to go do something really big that we'd never heard anybody else had done before. So we went and climbed Mount McKinley in Alaska, summited that, and then when we got back down, we hopped on our bicycles and biked from Alaska to Baja, Mexico, 4,000 miles.
We're too addicted to Netflix to do
No,
something.
no, no, no. Oh my gosh.
That is okay.
Yeah. So from that point on, we basically said every year we want to come up with some big expedition.
Wow.
And that's what we've done. And so with kind of my background of the outdoors and learning how to do all that, and what I've learned through the outdoors with leadership and all that kind of stuff, me and Jeremy kind of decided, hey, we need to do something in this community because there's not really anything like that here in Tallahassee. And I think it could be extremely beneficial to the community.
All right, so if anybody wants to participate, get involved, come and join the club, what do they do? Who do they contact?
Reach out to us on Facebook, and it's just as simple as that, the Tallahassee Adventure Club. Search us, shoot us a message, and we'll get you involved.
And what are we doing? What are we doing?
Well, I think what we're going to do, like I said, we're going to have them back. Well, we're not going to ride a bike from Alaska to Summit.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. We will take you. We will take you for sure. We will take you.
Is there Wi-Fi the whole way?
Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not.
Can we do a Winnebago? Get a Winnebago?
Well, one thing we can promise you is a good meal along the way. So I know we like food.
Okay,
so.
we do love food. All right, well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on this amazing adventure club, and we'll be right back.
Wheezy's Cottage and Home. There's so much here for your home, you may never want to leave. Wheezy's Cottage and Home in the Market District, next to Narcissus. Hey, where did Ann and Audra go?
Come celebrate National Barbecue Month with all-you-can-eat St. Louis ribs at Sonnys BBQ. Served with 2 sides and bread for just $14.99 for a limited time.
All right. Well, we're wrapping up this episode for this week, this Thursday.
Huge show. How to get involved with your community on multiple levels.
Yeah.
And anything you want to talk about coming up that we need to advertise and tell people to be at?
It's always TallahasseeArts.org to see all your latest and arts, culture, heritage events, everything going on. There's a lot still going on.
We've got top singles coming too.
Oh, top singles.
Right, so we'll meet some more of them as we get closer to that event.
Okay.
And introduce you to those folks and all the different fundraising events that they've got going on. But we will see you right here next week.